So we know you have something specific that you are thinking about. So
what I became aware of is that, again, it was more when I was trying to utilize this approach from when I was trying to deal with a problem. What I have found is that I need to even back it up a step and say, just go with that flow all the time. And said I was still kind of doing actions because I'm in business. I have a lot of things I have to handle and actions that have to be taken. But I was more using the the negative emotion to say, okay, here's how that biggest issue, that's how I'll deal with that, versus all of them.
Let's talk about this a little bit. So first we want to say to you that dealing with a problem is different than looking for a solution. And your guidance is always calling you toward the solution. But it's all right if you're not feeling the inclination and you're not going. You might not be in the vibrational frequency of the solution yet, so you're not going. But the more you want to go and the more you don't go, the more source calls you. So the stakes get higher and the emotional charge gets greater. That's what makes you feel like you need to deal with the problem. Now here's the thing about dealing with the problem. We can give this to you in a very easy to understand way. Have you heard us talking about scripting, anyone? Where you sort of write the story the way you want it to be. And many of you assumed that that's the way you were creating your own reality. In other words, I'll write it down. I'll tell the universe that I want this much money and I want it in this denomination and I want it spread across these kinds of assets and I would like this relationship and I would like all of these physical characteristics and so forth. And so what we're wanting you to realize is that you've already done that creating. Through the life that you've been living, you've already put this vibrational version of the reality that you are creating into your, what we've called the vortex. It's this vibrational reality, the vibrational version of what you want. So there it is. When you script, what the scripting does, the scripting doesn't do the creating. The scripting is the way you practice the vibration of what you've already created. The scripting, in fact, all of the processes that we teach you are to help you to get into the receptive mode so that you can feel the impulse. And we want you to know that a good deal, in fact, with you, we can say a large part of what you are calling problem solving is inspired from source, because until that occurs to you, that can't occur to you, and until that occurs to you, that can't occur to you, and you're not just going to jump from there all the way over to there. And so there is a path, and we call it the path of least resistance. More positively spoken, it could be called the path of most allowance, but it's the best path to get you and where you are vibrating to you and who you really are and how you want to feel. And the thing that we so want to emphasize, and let's just get it out here in a way that you can really, really hear it today, where you are is not wrong. Where you are is not wrong. Having resistance on your path is not a wrong thing, because there is always going to be some resistance to get from where you are to some new place that you've chosen. That's just what motion forward is all about. And you got to have motion forward because you can't stand still. You don't want to. Your life has caused the expansion. And so let's first say problem solving is not a bad thing. Solution seeking may be a more positive way to say it, but problem solving is a clarifying thing. Sometimes in chewing, in thinking, it causes you to emit more clarification about what you want, but even more, it breaks loose some sort of mini excursions, so to speak, so that you can feel yourself. Haven't you often been in a problem-solving mode and actually solved a problem?
Yes.
Problem-solving mode just means focused, but here's the thing. You know those people who are more solution-oriented. So let's just for a moment, let's label you a solution-oriented person solving a problem. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? A solution-oriented person in the problem-solving mode. That also is good. Then you know those people who are problem-oriented. They're in the problem-oriented mode all the time. That's an entirely different conversation, isn't it? Because they're not in the solution-oriented mood. They're in the justifying why life sucks mode. They're in the I don't like where I am, and I don't think anybody else likes where I am, and so let me just talk about all the bad things that have happened to me. That mode is like the victim mode. It's like the poor me mode, and that's not what you're talking about at all. This is a really good clarifying conversation to have, isn't it? So as long as you've got your eye on where you want to be, none of you think you do, but none of you. You think you do, but none of you. Oh, you think you do, but none of you. But you think you do. None of you wants to move from where you are immediately into everything that you want. What would be the fun of that? You got on the ship, boom, it's over. In fact, they don't even leave Seattle. They say to you, "This is your captain speaking. We are on the ship, the beautiful Eclipse." Is it? What's the name of this ship?
Solstice.
We are on the beautiful Solstice. Captain's been. We are on the beautiful Solstice, and we are in Seattle. Ladies and gentlemen, since Seattle is where we're going to end up, we've decided not to go. We hope you enjoyed your journey. This was the voyage of saving time. And of course, you're not going to just get it done, are you? You're not going on this voyage to get it done. You're going for all of the clarification and all of the fun, all of the possible pleasure that you can extract from each moment, aren't you? And so let us ask you, can there be any pleasure in problem solving?